Hello, and welcome to another Lone Tomato video. Don't worry if there's random noises in this video, as some small little creatures like this are just running around my place now. So like many of you over the last couple months, you've probably been looking at some good smartphone photography from all of these new fan-dangled flashy devices. Well, it wasn't that long ago that some of this flashy photography was coming out of phones that were 3, 4, 5 years old. So, I wondered, can some old phones still take good photos? I rounded up for your viewing pleasure a 3-year-old Galaxy Fold, a 4-year-old Pixel 3 XL, and can you believe it, a 5-year-old iPhone 10. I know, it's 5 years old already. My mind is blown. So without further ado, these are the beautiful images captured with these little beauties. Now starting off, these shots really just give you a good comparison between the three phones. So this one here, this one here, and this one here. Now if you couldn't guess which phone took which photo, that's okay. That's why I'm here, to help you out, because I'm just such a nice guy. This first one, Samsung Fold 2, took it. It's pretty nice. The iPhone took this one, and this last one was actually taken by the Pixel. Can you believe it? Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I do think, especially in this case, I think that the iPhone and the Fold took the better photo. The Pixel is just a little bit flat. You are gonna see that through a lot of these photos, especially from the Pixels. But the iPhone's is just a little bit too contrasty, but the Samsung's is just a little bit too less contrasty. It's hard to pick a favorite one. I think I'm gonna have to I'm just gonna split between the two. It's my show, fuck it, I can do what I want. Moving on from that though, we have this absolutely beautiful shot. This was taken on the Pixel 3. Fantastic photo. This is of a beautiful misty wood area. The really low contrast sort of get everything as the sort of same color really works well for the Pixel. It just really likes to bring out images that aren't saturated, very moody. If you're looking for mood, definitely pick some old phones, but it's such a beautiful image. It's so beautiful. It really is such a good looking image. Just the trees, it looks overexposed a little bit in the sky, but it can't be perfect. That is very much a trend on these old phones. Moving on, this one, this little beauty was taken on the Samsung portrait mode. Pretty nice. It has definitely got all of the edges done all right. Messed up a little bit on Brentibus's hair there, but otherwise, honestly, it's looking pretty good and it's quite impressive. Got the truck rolling off, well, I should say got the blur of the truck rolling off a bit in the background. That is quite nice and very well done. That is a very hard thing, that is a very hard thing to do, even for new phones. And honestly, that's pretty good. Even the tough terrain bag there, caught up a little bit on the side, very impressive. Moving on, this is another shot from the Fold. Beautiful shot, another one taken down in beautiful Barrington tops. The sky is not overexposed. There's still a nice bit of shadows. It's brought up everything really nicely. I quite like this, how this photo turned out. This is taken on the ultra wide. Now this is a benefit of being the newest phone here. Neither the Pixel nor the iPhone have an ultra wide camera, and that is honestly something that I very much miss out on having, because it just brings a whole bunch of new options to your shots. There's a few later I'll show you. This one, another very beautiful shot taken on the Fold. Can you believe it? This guy is doing pretty good. So much for having a puny 12 megapixel image sensor. Anyway, just a little banter there. This is another very beautiful image. Samsung is really good at their HDR images. They are really freaking good. Even the latest foldable phones, honestly, they beat the iPhone in terms of dynamic range. They are absolutely fantastic. I'll never admit that the Samsung phone is better than the iPhone ever again, But in this case, just the clouds are not overexposed at all. You've still got, even the rocks aren't completely crushed in the shadows. It's very nice, and it's such a beautiful composition as well. I mean, the photographer that took this, he must have known his shit, I'll just say that. Anyway, moving on from this one, we have a glitched image, that's fun. This bad boy was taken on the iPhone X, first shot of the day. It's very nice. Again, just like the last one, it's very well exposed. The clouds aren't overdone. The trees aren't gone. They're not completely gone. It's a very nice shot. I think I just more so like the framing on this one. It's very nicely put the skyscraper in the middle, but that comes down to, of course, the photographer and how good your skill is really gonna see whether you can get the most out of these images. Another beautiful shot up in Barrington Tops. This one was taken on the Fold. Ultra wide camera really came in handy on this one. Again, you really got to get a phone with an ultra wide camera. If you're into photography, I should say, ultra wide cameras, completely beautiful because you can really capture everything about the scene. You see old Nicky boy down there helping out Brie on the truck, getting it winched up, got your rope up there, got the rocks perfectly, very well exposed, I should say. Clouds, a little bit overexposed, and you can see a little bit of chromatic aberration there, but it's not too much. It's very fine. It's very completely fine. Moving on, Doggo. It's a 10 out of, it's an iPhone X shot that gets a 10 out of 10 because it's got Doggo and bread in it. Very beautiful. I will say though, this portrait mode shot from the iPhone X, the lines very well, very good on getting them quite nice. Yeah, and just one thing that continuously surprises me about portrait mode photos is that it really gets the bokeh roll off just perfectly nice. Like, you just, the subtle roll off, it's very, I would imagine that it is extremely hard to simulate, and they've done it really well here. Even, oh, holy cow, I just realized this. Even behind his leg is, a little bit of clipping there, but even behind his leg is got, that is fantastic. 5-year-old phone gets a photo that good. That's an A+ in my books. Moving on, this is a nice Pixel 3 shot. Yeah, I'm just gonna spoil it out the back. Pixel 3 took this one. Again, it very much embodies what the Pixel 3 does. It just completely crushes the image. It works for some images, but I think for this one, it just made everything really just look the same. And I think I made the mistake of putting this one in portrait mode, because especially the blur just blurs everything together. And these fern leaves really do not stand out, and it just makes it not as good as a photo as it should be. Dog. Sammy! As you can see, it's captured him very well. Now, the hard part about him is he's quite a dark dog. I'm not being racist, but you are. You're quite a dark dog, which has made it really hard to expose, especially with the bright cement wall in the background. Again, not being racist, not being racist. It's just, you are who you are, you know? It's 2021, you're an independent dog. You can do what you want. Okay, I'll let you go. Other than that though, everything is looking very good. Portrait separation around the outside is beautiful. Messed up a little bit on the fur, but that's all right, that's okay. All right, so next shot we've got, it's a beautiful shot taken on the old iPhone X. Now this shot, it's very nice. Once again, Doggo, 10 out of 10. It's just the way that it is. It's not up to me. It's not my call. It's your call. It's your call. Very nice photo. I think it really suffered from dynamic range on this one. Like, it's just, the shadows are just really grainy. And for anything in focus, it's just, yeah, that's the big suffrage of these old phones. They have really small sensors. Some of the latest, especially flagship ones, have come out with far bigger sensors than this, making them much better in low light, but I'll show you a little bit of that later on as well. This is another beautiful shot taken on the Fold ultra wide. I'm loving the ultra wide camera. It was so good to have. Beautiful, once again, sky's perfectly clear, bottom's perfectly clear, beautiful lake, beautiful shot. It's not a lake, it's a pond. This shot, taken out at Tweetheads, looking at the city in the distance. It's I really wanted to frame these ones. This is a good photo to show you because I planned this all out, can you believe it? But this particular one I took on the new iPhone with a 3x telephoto, 3x camera, which makes things a lot better. New phones will also have that really increased punch-in ability, like even the new Samsung phones and the new iPhones, even the new Pixels actually also have a telephoto camera, and it just really allows you to frame up shots better. I actually do prefer the Fold's photos though. I was very surprised. The new iPhone it absolutely over sharpened this to all heck, and it really, really shows on the photography side. Otherwise, these photos are pretty nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. Moving on. Tree shot. I just thought this was a nice shot. Little possum down there at the bottom. Night mode on the Pixel 3. I think that and the Samsung are the only ones that have night mode. Moving on. It's just a nice shot. It's a cute little possum. Galaxy Fold. Can you see? Ultra wide cameras. I freaking love them. Really nice. Photographer of this one just really put this in a really nice place, and like he almost like made it leading lines. He's probably got a big dick or something like that. Now this one as well, taken on the iPhone 10. It is a very nice shot. I quite like the shot. It's just not there. Like, this is one of the times where it really did let me down. The sky is quite overexposed. The ground just looks like a muddled mesh. I think this is, if like a proper photography camera was taking this, it would have made the sides really nice and bokeh. The background would have been a little bit of bokeh. It's just no. It's a beautiful composition wise, but it's just not a good photo. Another one of the dogs. Can you believe it? It's almost like they're one of the most popular members of the house. This is another one taken on the Pixel 3. As you can tell, it's very flat. It is a reasonably flat image, but it's quite nice. The portrait mode messed up on this one quite a bit. I mean, I don't blame it. It's quite a complex thing. It's quite a complex photo to take, especially around the eye, around the toy. It got Arlo and Sammy cut out pretty nicely, but yeah. Although I will give the Pixel credit on this one, even in portrait mode, it did a fantastic job on making Sammy's skin tone, fur tones look quite nice. So that is always a good news. Selfies are great. I love the selfies. I think this was Pixel 3. Yeah, Pixel 3 takes selfies. This is actually the only Pixel phone that has an ultra wide camera on the front, 0.7 times. Fantastic for taking selfies. One of my favorite selfie phones. Another selfie on the Pixel. Again, these two shots very similar, very flat, not much going on, very unsaturated too. Not much saturation in them, but like nice shots. Look at this. Who's that handsome devil? Anyway, another fantastic photo of taking selfies, the Fold. Being able to flip it out and take it with the front screen is absolutely fantastic. If you're looking for a fantastic selfie phone, it's one of the best, if you can get around it being foldable. Yeah, ultra wide camera. I freaking love the ultra wide camera. So good to have an ultra wide camera, especially on old phones. Yeah, especially, yeah, I think 2019, 3 years back, even the S10s, Note 10, iPhone 11s, all had ultra wide cameras. They are fantastic. Love me an ultra wide. Another selfie on the Fold. Another selfie on the Fold. This one of my favorite photos from the whole trip. iPhone 10 portrait mode took this photo. I was blown away when I saw it. It's so well segmented, and the look on Steve's face, the action too, that's slightly out of focus. That's portrait mode working its magic. This is really what a lot of smartphone photography needs to really elevate it to the next level, is beautiful portrait shots. And it's just, you can see the segmentation is so good. Little bit very overexposed on the arm, I should say. That is the only sucky thing about this. Otherwise, could be a little bit more saturated, but otherwise, like, it's a beautiful shot. I absolutely adore this shot. This shot, I just thought it was a very nice composition-wise shot and very impressed. This is taken on the Samsung Fold. The clouds are not overexposed, and the shoes, you can still see the detail in them. Even when zooming in, it is very nice detail. I'm quite happy with this shot. I wish that I got it on a bit of a further telephoto lens, because this is again only a 2x shot, but composition, everything, it really makes it worth it. This shot, this is another great composition shot taken on the Pixel. Once again, as I've said, very flat image. I think it ruins the image though. I really think it ruins the image. It's so flat that I really don't like it. It's nice to see that the high beams were caught there, but I really would have liked the white to pop more, the green to pop more, and the shadows, especially to be a little bit darker, especially under the tree and on Tyler's jacket. It's such a flat image that if it's what you're looking for, again, with that forest shot, so moody, so nice, but it's just not working on this one. Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot, iPhone 10, that one. Just this guy, he's doing completely PG things. And it's very nicely exposed. The car, underneath the car, it's not too underexposed. I think it's a great shot. I think it is a great shot. This one, we come back to the old Pixel 3, and its strong point is, like I said, just the moodiness of this shot. Just making sure, and it's beautiful. I really love any moody shots from the Pixel 3 XL. Very beautiful. Yeah, there's Pixel 3 XL. I know I keep on calling it the Pixel 3. And it's just, nothing's overexposed. This is like quite white, and it's very much was like that on the day. The trees aren't, you know, underexposed. Sorry, yeah, underexposed. It's a beautiful shot. It's a beautiful moody shot. This one, selfie. Can't get past the selfie on the old iPhone 10. And then I also took it compared to my iPhone 13 Pro Max, and you can just see how good HDR has improved over 5 years. It's quite impressive. I will say though, I think it did too much on the 13. I really like how it came out on the iPhone. Even though the sky is overexposed, I think that me and the dog look exceptionally good compared to this, which is quite hazy and it's just missing something. Didn't quite do it for me. Another shot on the Fold, ultra wide, beautiful shot. Made all the trees in focus. I'm not gonna dwell on this too much longer. This is another interesting shot. iPhone 10, took this one of my laptop sitting in a workshop, and it's very nicely segmented. Bit of strobe lines on that, that's weird. But otherwise it was a really nice shot of the MacBook. I really quite liked it, but the iPhone 13 Pro Max just really hit it out of the park on this one. I know it's a very subtle change, but going from the 2 times on the iPhone 10 to the 3 times on the 13 Pro Max really helped make the laptop stand out. I think really added some nice depth to it, and especially just the better, actually no, it's screwed up on those lines too, I take it back. It did really good segmentation. Missed a bit on the cable there. Did I get it on the 10? 10 missed it too. These aren't perfect. They ain't perfect. They ain't no DSLRs, I'll tell you that. And then Brisbane shot on the Pixel 3 XL at night. This is a beautiful shot. I took a photo with my camera, the one that I'm recording this as well, and it looked pretty much identical to this. This is a fantastic shot. I love the details brought out in the clock tower. The sky is not underexposed. You can see details there from the lights hitting the clouds. The background skyscrapers, well in focus. Even the Telstra sign isn't completely overexposed. But of course the main event, the clock tower, and it's just completely beautiful. Not too bad of flaring on there. It's a really nice shot. It really brought everything together, and its night mode is fantastic on the Pixel 3 XL. Another night shot on the Pixel 3 XL. This is another one of the staircase, this is another one in Brisbane at night. really just beautiful. It had a lot of light, so night mode was able to capture a lot of light quickly, meaning we didn't get too much blur on the escalator there, a little bit of blur, but otherwise, this is really nice. Like, you'll find a lot of new phones have bigger and better sensors that help a lot with night mode, but even like 4 years back, it's still doing a fantastic job. Really love this shot. This one was beautiful. I went to an art museum the other day with my old boss. Shout out to you, Kenny. The art was artist, but this hallway taken with the Fold on night mode, I thought was a very beautiful one. This wasn't even an art piece. I'm very retarded, but this is just a beautiful shot. I really like how night mode has just brung the moodiness, and it really just draws your eye into the photo. It's a very beautiful photo. I found a lot of these phones, and even some future phones, liked to overexpose the image, and it took me a little bit of underexposing it, but I think it really turns out in the end, especially making sure the lights aren't overexposed while making sure those shadows are properly represented. It's a really nice shot. Another shot of Brisbane City. I think, let me just check. What were you taking on? I think that this was the Pixel 3. I can't be sure for that, but I'm pretty sure it was night mode on the Pixel 3. This is another fantastic shot. I also took a shot like this on the regular camera, and it looked very similar to this, and very little motion blur. It's not overexposed. Beautiful bit of mistiness in the clouds. This is a nice shot. This is a nice shot. This one was taken on the Fold. I know, scary prospect of it being out in the rain, but I did it because they're big. And it's a great shot. Another great shot taken on night mode. The rain just really brings some moodiness to this image. It's wonderful to see that the neon sign wasn't overexposed too much. Still a little bit overexposed, but I mean, come on, you're facing a very dark subject against a very bright neon sign. There's bound to be some clippage in there, and the Fold has done fantastically. Under the bridge, got it all perfect. Even the buildings in the background are very nicely detailed. Very great shot. I'll hold up. I did take this photo on the camera, and I'm sorry, Samsung, but you just cannot compete. Especially the man in the middle, he just brings some beautiful composition to the image. The sign isn't overexposed at all. You can tell the blockiness. It's very nicely detailed in the back, but I mean, like, these are raw photos being added, and it's just beautiful. It's a really nice shot. And we're back. Sorry about the frame, camera just died there. Moving on, another beautiful shot. I shouldn't say beautiful, it's just all right. Taking on the old iPhone 10. I really wanted to take this one to highlight the differences between a 5-year-old phone and a new phone. This was taken on the iPhone, and this was taken on the 13 Pro Max. Now, just the detail in these shots are quite nice. I'm pretty sure from memory, the iPhone 10 needed to go into night mode, whereas the 13 Pro Max just took it full hog. Didn't even need to use no wimpy night mode. Took it on the regular sort of video settings, and it's just so much crystal clearer than the 10s. You can just see it really just doesn't have a lot of detail there, and that's usually due to the ISO being so high that the details all get very noisy, and just it's very crisp on the 13 Pro Max as well. Moving on, another beautiful shot, ultra wide on the Fold. It's beautiful. I love having an ultra wide. You really capture all the details from the scene. You get the tunnel, you get TJ there. A little bit overexposed, a little bit disappointed by that, but I mean, he's right next to his Navara in the shade. In the tunnel, get your abbreviations right, Ben. Get your language right, my gosh. Blech. And that's, the Navara is completely crushed. But I mean, like, this was in a very dark shadow against some very bright natural light. And I mean, I think that the Fold's done a fantastic job, especially on the ultra wide camera, probably the worst spec out of everything. And it has done a beautiful job of bringing it up. The trees are beautiful. The cement is disgustingly beautiful, grungily beautiful, one might say. It's a nice shot. Ultra wide camera, it's great. Honestly, would recommend it if you're a photo buff. This is a nice shot. Pixel 3 took it. Night mode. Really brought out, I wanted to have this sculpture in the front and just this building in the background. And I think it did a fantastic job, but swinging my phone around, this is what it took it on the 13 Pro Max. And I thought this really told the story a little bit better. I will admit, I like the blur of the Pixel, and it does add some nice separation, but I think that the ultra wide, especially with the macro mode on the new 13 Pro Max, really brought it close to that. Now, in saying that, the more I look at it, I'm not gonna lie, this Pixel 3 shot looks quite nice, but as with all the other Pixel 3 shots, it's flat. It's quite flat, especially when compared to this. Keeps the detail in the shadows, keeps the lights looking very bright, and you know, it's personal choice. You might like the flatter look. I'm swinging 50-50 on this one. I'm batting for both sides. Nice bridge shot. This is taken on the iPhone 10 night mode. Now this is another cheeky little surprise because it's actually a comparison shot to this one. This is the 13 Pro Max. This is quite nice. This is much better. Very nice detail, especially the bridge. You see it on there, it's a little bit crushed. The flaring's quite bad. I was surprised by that on the iPhone 10, considering the 13 Pro Max had reports of bad flaring, but it's very well controlled flaring. It's just, yeah, iPhone 13 just took it much better. Beautiful sunset shot compared to the 10, compared to the 13. This was the 13. This shot, I wanted to show that 13, especially newer ones, really sharpen up the image. Like you zoom in a bit and it's really sharp on the new ones. I'm quite surprised. I really thought it was going to be an improvement over the 10, but I actually much prefer the 10s. It's not softer, but it's just less sharp. It feels less artificial and I quite like it. It's even got the exposure like reasonably right. The underexposed sort of leaves there aren't completely crushed on the 10. The iPhone 10 holded its ground on this one. I was quite happy and quite surprised with this. Next one, another good shot showing that HDR also really hasn't changed that much. Like just flicking between these two images, one of them was taken on the 10, one of them was taken on the 13 Pro Max. Bet you can't tell which is which. Just kidding, you can, because this one's a bit sharper than the other one. But yeah, the 10 like brought this really nice. Again, the 10 holds its own for a 5-year-old phone. Can't believe I'm saying that. Holds up very nicely. And this is just trashing on the Samsung phone because this is taken on the Fold, and compared to this, which is taken on the camera, not even comparison. Looks so much better, the Fold. And I mean, that's really, like I said earlier, it overexposes the images very much, and just, you want to nail the exposure if you're going to use these old phones. Same with this shot. Very nice on the Fold. Very nice shot. The camera just makes it much better. The camera just makes it much better. But then again, you are paying a bit extra for that. And like I said, this is mainly just trashing on the Samsung phone, because if I would have brought the exposure down just a little bit in this one, would have been a very beautiful shot, very close to the camera. And this is another explanation of this. You bring down the exposure on the Fold or just any of these cameras for anything, and it just looks much better. Really, it's a shot-by-shot decision, but I really think that if you bring down the exposure on some of these old phones and you know what you're using them for, you realize that HDR can be a little bit worse than old phones, and you realize that it's going to be much flatter, especially on the Pixels, you can get some fantastic shots on these old phones. That's where I'm going to leave it. Thank you for coming to my Nerd Talk, and I'll see you in the next one.